Good morning and welcome in. We're going to get started today. Today is going to be a heavy month and we want to share some things. So, of course, for the writers, I want you to get your pens out. I think our core scriptures are going to be Galatians 5 and 1, Acts 7 chapter, verse 51. And I think the other one was Acts 17:21. Those are going to be our core scriptures. 17, 20, 26, 17, 26. Okay, I probably got it wrong. All right. So what we're going to do is look at the month of September. It's the spiritual numerology, the number 9, which means that an individual should have cleansed him or herself out and began to adopt new principles, new structure, new approach. The challenge is the old me is hard to die and the new me is hard to develop. So if I would say this to you, what would your future self say to your present self? Get a job. Good job. Good job. Okay. So your future self. But so I'm glad you mentioned that. Good job. But here's the challenge that I would say. What will your future inherit that's in your present? And you may not have an answer, but I'll break it down to this point. I was looking at some contacts of some studies, and they said you cannot leave your children your degrees or your titles. And if we are just working for a company and have a house or car or some things, we then leave them a process forward outside of money. Now, 90+% of people who receive money, either from the lottery, either from inheritance, didn't know how to make the money. So then they don't know how to manage the money. So then within 2 to 3 years, they have stuff, but they have nothing that's producing. The biggest thing that people are overlooking is what they have. We fall into the concept of competing and having. When you're not to compete, you are to develop. People switch your development. What are your dreams? What are your goals? What are your ambition? Because no one's coming to start that for you. No one's coming to do that for you. And many times, no one's coming to hand that to you. And if it's going to be a hand, it's going to be a hand that's going to try to pull back as well. Okay. Because with most people, and even in leadership, many times it's about control and not development. So in the present time, you may have a wonderful job, you may have a degree, you may have titles, but here's what your future self would say to your present is what will your children and your nieces and nephews build on? This is why there's one particular, several ethnicity groups that say nobody didn't leave me nothing because they got programmed to struggle and survival. So all they did was struggle and survival. And when they got more, they consumed more. So when their children came along, there were no seeds, no fields, nothing to produce. Because at your best, if there is not a seed, or a business, and it's in certain ethnicity groups, it is demanded that the children follow and stay in the family business. In some ethnicity groups, there are no businesses. So you may have been up here, but your child will be here. Who's going to let them in? If you're making 6 figures, that's no guarantee your child will make good 6 figures. And you can say, my child is a carbon copy of me, but here's the point. You're a carbon copy of a product, but you never planted and produced the seed. Am I making sense? Is it that hard this morning already? You never produced the seed. You produce a nice outfit, a nice attire. You produce a nice car. You had something, but the thing you have is not fertile. What does your clothes produce? What do your eyewear produce? What does your phone produce? It's an advertisement for someone else to go and purchase. And if you're not, this is what the writers say. If you're not producing and you're human, you're a parasite. Because the only things that don't produce are parasites. Because society gets people in certain ethnicity groups engulfed with name brand watches, name brand clothes, name brand this, and name. So your values are different.
Society will have you thinking because you're not wearing name brand that you're not the it person.
So the title is Dear Me. And so here's the other thing no one really tells you all is you only have a window. I have a book called The Shrinking Window. You only have a frame. And that window and that opportunity begins to shrink. Can any of you do what you did at 9 and 15?
No.
Okay, because the window, you're in a different phase of life. And when you're in that phase of life, what you could do, for me, I'll give you a real simple example. Potato chips. Oh, that was a time you could eat potato chips and the potato chips never showed up. Now there's a time you can smell the potato chips. And somehow there's 12 more pounds on the scale than what was before.
Right.
Go back and look at some of your younger pictures. So the point is, what would your future self say to your present self? Number one, for the writers, minimize the triggers. Because they're going to be triggers your whole life. You're never going to get rid of triggers. What you have to do is learn how to identify them before. In other words, catch it when the smoke starts rather than have to go put out the fire. These things are eyes wide open every day, stopping the issue before it builds up and become a mountain. You see what I'm saying? It could be something so simple in communication. It could be something so simple and that could easily be fixed. But because I'm in my feelings, I ignore it. So the first is minimize the trigger. Galatians 5:1, stand fast in the liberty wherewith Christ has set you free. Be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. So don't repeat what our parents did. Our parents could have a wonderful job. Our parents could be this and be that. But what does it produce? It gives them something to have something, but what they have, what is it producing? In lay terms, it's a difference in an apartment and a house. And in certain cultures, they teach you if you don't have a mansion, you don't have nothing. Other cultures will move into their grandparents' house and fix up the bathroom and the kitchen. Stay there for 5 years. Y'all looking real strange. And then move out. And there are some families that when you get married, you stay in the family property. In fact, there was a dentist, my dentist. He drove 70 miles one way for 5 years. And he was a dentist. Because each child got a chance to live on the land in grandmother's house 7 years free of utilities, no taxes, no nothing. And after the 7th year, they had to move out. So he and his wife didn't have any children. They waited, they saved their money. And then when they built, other groups are taught if you don't have this and this. See, sometimes you can get stuff that you ain't mature enough to handle. You get it too soon and you're trying to supersede what your parents and your grandparents have because your pride is wrapped up in visual and not wrapped up in vision. It's a difference when your pride is wrapped up in visual and not wrapped up in vision. So then we see grandmother's old house and we don't want it, but we don't see other people see the land. And sometimes they'll have people come and pull the house off and keep the land. We don't want it, so we won't pay taxes on it. Somebody else comes by and buy it for $1,000 and wait a year and then turn around and tear the house down and sell the lot for $200,000. So if you're writing to yourself in the month of September, what would your future self say to your present self? Dear me, here's another thing it would say. Don't talk about your loss. Too many people talk about yesterday. They talk about how they were broke. They talk about how they failed. So they think, and actually what they're looking for is attention and not dealing with reality. The reality is you're not there anymore. And the reality is you need to close that door. Because as you move forward and the wind picks up, you have too many windows open that's going to create an additional aerodynamic of weight in your vehicle. So you're going to burn more fuel to get to the same place that you could have raised the windows and moved on in the aerodynamic age. What your future self will say to your present self is don't talk about your loss. Y'all not looking well. It says talk about your future. Too many people talk about what you did, what you didn't do, what they didn't get, who did A to them, who did B to them. Hello? Is it me this morning? Am I fast? Are y'all slow? Or we ain't on the same page? Is it hitting that hard? It's okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. See, I like that. See, if I can say process, then I can slow down. I don't call you. Break it in. I'm serious. This whole month is going to be dear me. Dear me. Don't talk about your loss because your loss will keep your equilibrium and spiritual equilibrium off balance with your future. So you will generate. Can I make it plain? You will generate an attitude and an issue within yourself. Most people are not broken on the outside. That wound heals and leaves a scar. When you don't heal on the inside, then anything is liable to set off that volcano. Am I right? So you have to start addressing the inside wound. You have to start addressing the unanswered, because I say this to people all the time. Sometimes there are more questions than there are answers. And you can ask questions all day. And the biggest thing about asking questions all the time is you're not satisfied with the answer. And sometimes there is no answer. And you won't accept it. Am I making sense? So because of your unsettledness and your internal brokenness, you're constantly picking at an internal wound that you won't let heal. And so when you're writing to yourself, because if you're not healed on the inside, you will stay broken in the middle, and it takes your equilibrium for you to have your balance. Am I making sense? And so if you're broken, anything that looks like or smells like or come close to that sensitive part of you, say it again. And so all that you tried to build up is now blown up and in pieces in the backyard. When if you would have, this is the whole context of having the Holy Spirit, is that it helps balance you. It helps heal you. It doesn't work on the outside. God gives you authority over your attitude. God gives you authority over your behavior. God gives you authority over your focus. God gives you authority over your discipline. God is not going to make you put that donut down. Yeah, I mean, I got to lighten it up because God's not going to make you lose 10 pounds. God's not going to stop you from going in there eating that ice cream. You know you just had a whole bowl with chips. And then the donut sitting over there, and it's supposed to be for tomorrow morning with your coffee. The donut is calling you. There you go. It's over there dancing. Eat me, eat me. So now you've eaten 6,000, 12,000 grams of sugar. And wonder why you can't sleep. You in the you wonder why you can't sleep. I Y'all, I guess I'm about to look up your eyes. But am I making sense? And then you don't want to eat any vegetables. You don't want to eat any vegetables. You don't want to eat any fiber. And then you sitting up in the bathroom for 45 minutes and other people need to use the restroom. Because see, you eat what you like, you just feel good, you got your energy, but there's another side of you. Hmm? And then you think can I make it plain? You got a bad attitude. Let me tell you what, I can say this about my grandmother. She was really, really cool. My grandmother would tell me, she said, you didn't get your nap out. And I'm like, you know what? She said, because you're looking crazy. She said, baby, you didn't get your nap out. Go get your nap out because you just all in the room. You didn't get your nap out. Yeah, because see, when your body is not relaxed, that's why they call it a rest room. You think they mad at you? They full of. Okay, y'all said it. I'm just saying. Yeah, yeah. And so when you're not relaxed, you get irritated. Come on. Yeah, you got back pressure. Yeah. Stomach. They slow you down. You see them commercials with people, and she's like, "What's wrong?" Oh, I'm not in. And she's like, "Oh, you need some of this, and you need some of that. Some of y'all need a good cleansing. You need a detox. You just a walking parasite." I mean, am I making sense? Because you should be talking about your future, but you can't talk about your future if you're still chained to your past. You're still chained because your behavior hadn't changed. Your attitude, and it sounds so simple, don't it? Sounds so simple. Can I give y'all the triggers? Some of y'all get set off at the red light. When people pull off, too slow, you already on your horn. It hadn't even been a half a second. The light turned green. You ready? You don't let them stop short for the light turn red. Yes. Stop. The light's on yellow. It's in between. There you go. You arguing in the car. You bet you can barely handle your steering wheel, and you over there trying to drive a vehicle. Okay, boy, it's mighty quiet in here. Mighty quiet. Mighty quiet. Yeah, and your blood pressure all up. Then you wonder why you go to the doctor, and your blood pressure 165. What's the whole moral of this story? Because we're gonna close out here shortly. What's the whole moral of this story? You don't have balance inside. And when you don't have balance inside, you can't have balance outside. Because outside can look like a wonderful thing, but inside can be broken pieces and broken glass and no form of communication. Now, let me tell you the mystery behind that. When those things exist, there are spirits that wake up to control you. Then you try to control other people. You become selfish. And this is why the Bible says all the ways of a man are good in his own eyes, because everybody wrong but you. Have you ever lived and been at home and you was upset, but you ain't talked to nobody? There's something going on in your head that has nothing to do with your present, but never was buried in your past. So it chose this day, a rainy day, to show up. It's raining. You mad? Yeah, you can. Yeah, yeah. My grandfather did it this way. He was, I don't know, I think he was drunk, and he came home and he woke up with a headache, and so the neighbors came outside and said, "Good morning." I don't want to hear too many more good mornings this morning. What's wrong with good morning? Because he had been drunk and sitting on the front porch in the duplex with a headache. Because he'd been drinking that white lightning, that corn liquor from the still. Now his blood pressure and everything up. And he's sitting there, somebody said, "Come on, I don't want to hear no more, don't do any more good mornings right here tomorrow." What was wrong with good morning? He was out of balance. Come on, somebody say, "I'm out of balance." Yeah, he didn't get his nap out. You need a nap. Am I making sense? I'm going to close y'all with this one. This ain't something that's easy. Talk about your future so you can get the ingredients to build your future. Talk about your future. Lay out a plan and a process. See, the problem is society shows certain groups that you should be here, but they never show you the stairway.
Correct.
So you want to go out here and be here. And I'll give it to you plain. I've talked to several people, and let's just take an even number, $12 an hour. So I talked to a guy, said, "What do you average?" He said, "Well, I make $12 an hour." I said, "Okay, how long you been there?" "I've been there 4.5 years." I said, "Okay, but you need $25 an hour because you didn't manage what you had. Now you won't take a job unless they pay you $12 an hour. But when you started on the job, you started out at entry level. Nobody's going to pay you for your past." I've heard people, "I was making six figures." You missed the optimal word. You was. You are not. See, there's a culture that's been taught that it's against your nature to rebuild. Okay? You've been on your job. The labor board requires companies to give you raises, so you think you deserved it. It's written in law. It's not that you've earned it or qualified for it. But ain't nobody want to be with me now. I'm glad you're back in town, man. I'm going to need a friend. Because it sets a false pretense. That's why you're spending more, because you're thinking you should be making more, but you're not managing what you have. So you won't take a job that'll get you there and get you there faster. You think you're supposed to be there now, but you have none of the credentials, none of the process, and everything you talk about is what you did do. It has nothing to do with where you're at. But I was getting a bonus. Well, why you ain't over there? They were paying me. You was there 12 years. So somehow a new beginning brings you back to humility. Well, I can hear church mouse looking nice. And the problem is your ego don't embrace humility. Oh, Lord, I didn't know it was going to be like this, Jesus. I need somebody to pray for me. Some shoot a text or something. I mean, your humility is not ready for your reality. Your ego is not ready for your reality, because when you start over, you have to go back through the school of humility. So yes, you may have been making $30 on this job, and you may have been there, 3 years, but the job you go into is not going to start you out at $30. But your debt is at $55. And then you get a part-time job and find a way to make a bill for that. Part-time jobs are to pay off, pay down, and pay forward. And part-time jobs become lifestyles, because now you're living a fake lifestyle that is not your average earning. Because if you can't earn it in 40 hours, then you got to work 55 to get it. Now it's going to take 55 to keep it. And it's going to take 155 for you to get seeds out of the 55. Come on, stick with me. To be able to plant so something will produce for you. Am I making sense? See, y'all wonderful. Y'all young. I can teach y'all this. Y'all need to get this because old people can't get it. They can't get out there in the field no more. And people are like, what's the field? Using your mind. Your mind is a minefield. You use it, you create, you create a product. And you see, the problem is you wanted results too quick. You wanted results too quick. Because you was ready to show everybody to drive something, to look like something, to think you something, to go somewhere. But you can't stay there. Anybody want to say that? You can't stay there. Now you're embarrassed and fighting, trying to hold on to something when you ought to let it go. So now you say get mad in the process, but you was already mad in the beginning. So now you mad in the beginning, you mad in the process. So what does that produce? Road rage, violence, self-inflicted wounds. That's why we eating all them sugar and donut. Yep. And then try to drink a Diet Coke talking about you on the diet. You ain't on no diet. You just drinking the Diet Coke to soothe your conscience. Yeah, but am I making sense? See, because here's the facts. If it's easy, it has no value. Oh, come on. I'm trying to get to communion with you. If it's easy, it has no value. Why? Can I take it? Can I take you there? Can I take you there? Because here's the problem. The preacher preached to you, and I'm trying to stay out this wonder. The preacher preached to you about Jacob wrestled with the angel. You can't wrestle with something, and what you wrestle with don't get in you, and you get in it. But it leaves you with a scar that you ain't who you were before you got in the fight. When you come to God, his wounds are not on the outside. His wounds are on the inside. And that's why the Holy Spirit came as a fire. So it keeps the trash out and it don't let you get comfortable so you keep growing. Am I making sense? But you don't want to fight because you too pretty. Don't want to mess up your hair or get your shoes dirty. And you can't get there until it get in you and you get in it. That's what I should have wrote. It get in you and you get in it. Because when you get in it, it affects you. And can I tell you why? Whoa, Lord, bring that in. Come on, Cletus. Come on, preacher. Bring that down. Jacob had got so entangled with the angel. The angel had to say, I got to go. When you're in a tuggle with God, you just looking at the tuggle, not looking at why you're in the tuggle. So Jacob said, you got to do something for me before you go. See, you go through trouble and don't learn nothing. You're supposed to go through trouble and learn new processes. So then he told the angel, you got to do something. So the angel said, what I'm going to do, the problem is your ego that makes you arrogant on the outside. So the angel hit him in the hip. And when he hit him in the hip, he had to humble himself because now he ain't walking like mighty man. See, some of y'all don't want, God's trying to humble you the nice way, but your neck's so stiff that he gonna have to crack it. Now you're gonna be talking to everybody the rest of your life like this. How you doing today? Because he had to humble you, because when he sent you the messenger, you didn't want to listen to the messenger. Then you're gonna get in a fight with the angel. And instead of receiving what the angel was trying to pull out of you, the angel had to bust your head to the white meat for you to go somewhere in your whole life. Now you're like this. Come on. Come on. Don't let God have to knock out your two front teeth for you to get your life together. Because he's trying to tell you in the back room. He's trying to tell you in between the fence. Calm down. Get yourself together. Heal before you move. Get my glory. Walk in my anointing. Dear me. I've got to change me. Dear me, I've got to grow in me. Dear me, I've got the processes because I need spiritual balance. If I get spiritual balance, I can handle natural balance. See, there's multiple signs, and a lot of people have taught it, but a lot of people probably didn't hear it. There's multiple colors in the flame. And when you learn the colors in the flame, each flame represents something different. So you can't think your life is a square when your life is not finished. So you're trying to close the door on your development. Am I making sense? God bless you. We got to have communion. I'll see you at 10:30 in Greenwood. I'll be in Clinton today as well at 12 noon. God bless you. Love you. Have a great day.